Alrighty. So how are you?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. How are you feeling today?
Pretty good, yeah.
What does good mean?
I'm happy that it's sunny because I love the sun.
Yeah, happy that it's sunny.
It was like snowing.
It was.
This morning, and I was like,
yeah,
it's weird.
I know. I saw it coming. I'm like, I didn't think it
I
was
didn't
going to
think it
snow
was
today.
going to snow.
Right.
My mom came upstairs. She was like, oh, it's snowing. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, it's really weird.
Yeah, but then the sun came out, so that's really good.
Yeah.
It's nice. I like it.
Yeah.
How was your weekend?
It was good. On Saturday, my nana came over, and we went out for a little bit. And I saw someone from dance out. One of like an old person who was like kind of a friend, but then kind of didn't actually consider her a friend because she was like close friends with my bully. So.
Right.
But I saw her and she was like, I saw her like right there, and then she like walked super fast away and went on her phone, and I was like,
wow.
Yeah.
How did you feel seeing her?
I was kind of like, I like didn't have to do a doubt because I was like, oh no. Yeah. And then I like looked and I was like, okay. And I was like, okay, I mean, since we're almost done, I'm ready to leave. I didn't panic as much as like I thought I would, or like how I would have a few months ago, but I still was like anxious because I didn't know like what she could like do. So
you were anxious about seeing her?
Yeah.
For the first time in a long time?
Yeah.
And you didn't know how the interaction was going to go, but you felt okay after she left?
After we left, because
after
we
you
were
left.
Like,
okay.
Yeah, we were pretty much done.
You were pretty much done?
I was like, okay, we can just go to the car. So like I went to the car.
And how did you feel in the car?
I kind of like was like, okay, she's inside, it's fine. Like, you're fine. It's okay, like.
So you were kind of telling yourself that everything was okay?
Yeah.
And that, you know, she wasn't bothering you in that moment?
Yeah.
But the shock of seeing her for the first time made you anxious and kind of worried about what the interaction was going to be like.
Yeah.
But as long as there was no interaction and you left and she left.
Yeah.
You felt okay with it. Did it help you to tell yourself about that?
Yeah, I was just kind of like, okay, like, it's okay, like, she's inside, I'm in the car now, it's okay, she's not gonna do anything.
Right.
Yeah, and my dad was there, and he was like, no, I would not let her even, like, he was, like, guarding, he's, like, surveying, like, he's like, no. Yeah.
Right. That's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad your dad was being supportive of you.
Yeah.
And making sure that you were okay and not letting any harm or any sort of issue come between you. That's good. That's really nice to hear. How did you feel that your dad was being supportive exactly?
He has always been like, with this with the situation that's come on, he was the person that actually, he came to the studio like every day for like 4 months straight, which was like 5 days a week for up to like 4 hours, and he just sat there and to make sure nothing would happen, and that was the time where like nothing happened because they knew that like, oh crap, if he's here, like if we do anything, like it's not gonna be good.
Right.
And after he started coming, there were very few times where like there would be things said to me. There was only a few times, and I would tell him, and he would be like, okay. So he was kind of the one that.
Yeah.
And ever since like after dance, he was like, no, I'm done. He's like, I'm not. He's like, there's no more really like if they do anything, there's not much more playing nice that we can do because we were the people who played nice the entire time. And at this point, if anything were to happen, like, there's no point in even doing that anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so it sounds like your dad has always been supportive and very protective of you.
Yeah.
Making sure that no one was causing any harm to you or saying anything mean to you and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it sounds like it made you feel comfortable also, him being there and knowing that no one else was going to say anything or be mean to you or bully you in terms of, what you went through in the dance studio. And that's very nice. It's a good feeling to have, knowing that, there was someone making sure that you're okay and very protective of you.
Yeah.
Is that how you felt?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Okay. How do you feel with telling me this now?
Good.
You feel good about it?
Yeah.
You feel okay?
Yeah.
All right.
It's just like the shock of seeing them because it's like you don't like. Whenever I walk into places, I kind of like look around. I'm like, okay, no one's here. And then like when I do see them, I'm like a shock. Like, I gotta be like, okay. I think though, since it was just someone who was just kind of a part of that group, it wasn't as bad. But like if I were to see like my main bully in public, I don't know how that would go, and I'm grateful that I haven't seen. Because every time like it's been like my mom has seen them before and stuff like that, but I've never been there, which I say is like a protection from God, being like, no, you don't, you're not gonna be there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very grateful that I have.
I like the way you put it, that being a protection from God, for not you having to witness or be in like the same vicinity as the main bully of yours. Yeah. Yeah, I like that you put in that way. It makes it sound more comforting and like reassuring, knowing that someone is, out there protecting you in that way.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So what if you did? It sounds like you're not ready to see them at any point.
Yeah, I think it's just like, I don't think I would ever be like completely ready, but like I know at some point it probably will happen because where we are, like we all live like in the same area, so I feel like no matter what, it's like bound to probably happen at some point. I just have to like hope that it doesn't for a while, but yeah, it probably will at some point.
Yeah. But you're just not ready now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I probably would panic if I saw that.
Right. I was gonna ask you, how would you feel seeing them?
Yeah.
And it sounds like you would panic.
Yeah.
And freak out a lot.
Yeah, I probably would be like, okay, I need to leave. No.
Right. Yeah. It's okay that you haven't fully resolved those issues, and it's only been almost a year. Yeah, so it's okay that you still have sort of those feelings attached to seeing them, and it sounds like you would panic and have a tough time having to deal with that. But as long as you keep your head straight and knowing that you're okay in that moment, and knowing you haven't surrounded yourself with your family and having the comfort of having a relationship with God and having your faith and knowing that there's nothing else that could happen in that moment. And like you said, walking away is a good strategy to help yourself in that situation if it were to happen. Yeah. So how do you feel when your mom talks to you about seeing them in public?
I kind of like, sometimes she'll be like, oh, I saw so-and-so, and I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, and she said that like one time it was like, she saw like my main bully with another one of like, her friends, and she was like, they like walked by and were laughing, and I'm like, I'm a grown woman. Like, why, it really does not affect me when you walk by laughing at me. And I'm like, yeah, I don't understand what the point of that is. And I was like, Who knows? Who even knows? Like, I guess I'm just always like, leave me alone. Like, we don't talk. I don't want anything to do with you. You don't want anything to do with me. But it's like, clearly you do if you're going to still need to laugh when you walk past my mom. I'm like, just let me be. It's been so long since it all happened. And just literally let me live my life, and you can live yours how you want to. And I'll live mine. Like, please, just leave me alone.
Sounds like it's a lot, even now, that these people sort of have you in the back of your mind, so like still thinking about you in that way, like seeing your mom and laughing about past situations still with your mom. It's like they can move on in life.
Yeah.
And that's all you want to do, is move on with your life. And it's just very immature of them to be laughing at your mom or to your mom about a past situation that they were having to deal with.
Yeah.
But it also sounds like it's challenging for you because it's annoying to hear that from your mom, but it's also very panicky for you to, like, you would feel in a different way when you see them in public.
Yeah.
On one hand, it's annoying that your mom has to deal with it, and on the other hand, you would feel sort of panicked and anxious about seeing them and having to deal with it yourself.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot that you're still having to deal with right now, and it's coming up to a year now, and it's still something that you guys have to deal with as a family, including yourself.
Yeah.
But I think we've been working well on some tools, like walking away, taking deep breaths, even while you're panicking. It's important to stay present and focus on your breath, even though it sounds like a good idea saying it now, but in the moment, it sort of like goes out of the window.
Yeah.
But we just have to keep practicing on that and keep thinking about what, you never know.
Yeah.
Maybe when you see them, you might not even panic. Because you would have been totally moved on and like it's fully out of your mind and fully out of your system. You never know what might happen. But it's also good to have those skills that we learn. Good. All right. Does it sound like you want to move on and talk about something else?
Yeah.
I think so. So what else is going on?
I've been kind of talking about going to Cape Cod for spring break. But like, I would go by myself, which I'm like thinking about it because I'm like, I want to be able to like get out of Connecticut for spring break. But I'm like, I would just have to like be okay with being there by myself, which I would definitely be like, I know I would definitely be anxious about. Because like my mom wouldn't be there and stuff like that. It would just be like me, my cousin, my aunt, like that type of. So I'm kind of like, but it is something that like I'm really thinking about because I would really like to.
Right.
If I was able to. Because it could be like really fun and stuff. So yeah.
What do you think is stopping you from fully doing it?
I think just the fact that like being without my mom, because I have separation anxiety. I've had that since I was like, I think like 3. And it's just hard to like be away from my mom for too long. Like I used to struggle with going to just like sleepovers still even just like 2 years ago. Because I would just like get anxious.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's like, that's like one of the main things. It's like probably stopping me because I'm just like scared like something will happen to my mom or like I don't know, I don't even know, but
you don't like to think about it. But you feel that you sort of have anxiety when your mom or you yourself are away from each other. and like she's been sort of a support system for you.
Yeah.
That you feel kind of anxious and upset or maybe sad about the fact that you thinking about making this big decision of going away from your mom, but it's also upsetting to think about the fact that she won't be there with you.
Yeah.
It's a battle that you're having to think about. But I think it's something that you could accomplish because it's in April.
April, yeah.
Yeah. So that's something we can work on, slowly.
Yeah.
In I guess separation from your mom for a little bit, so you can start off small, and then build up to it. Because spring break is usually a week from now, and I think it would be a good idea on maybe a fun activity for you to try out being away from your mom for a few days, and see how you feel about it. Because I don't want to push you so far, but at some point, you will be away from
my mom.
Right.
Yeah. Like if I go to college,
right.
Like, kind of in front of him, like I'm gonna have to be away. So
And how do you feel thinking about the fact that in a few years you would be away from your mom?
I've always thought about that. I get kind of anxious about it because it's like when you're close with your mom and stuff like that, it's kind of hard to imagine wow, one day I'm not gonna be able to just come in your room at some point and just be like, hey. And it's if I go to college and stuff like that, then it's gonna be I'm gonna have to call her and stuff like that, FaceTime where I won't be won't be able to just be in the same house as her.
So just having that close proximity to her is really important to you.
Yeah.
Knowing you can just, walk up to her room or walk up to her and just say how you're feeling or just, be open with her.
Yeah.
It's the closeness that you guys have. But like you said, you do have phones and you're able to call her and text her and still communicate. It's just she's not as close to you as you would want. Yeah, but I think it's something that we can continue to explore and work on with the separation. And it's like I said, it's all in our thoughts. It's all in our thinking that causes all those anxiety and anxious feelings.
Yeah.
But as we continue to work on them and counter our thoughts and counter how bad we would feel. Like, for example, how bad would you feel? Or how would you feel? Let's say you spent a day away from your mom.
I mean, I've done it before because I've spent days at friends' houses or slept over at friends' houses. So I've done that before, and that's never too bad. Because usually it's I'm having fun and stuff like that, and so it's usually not too bad. But I always text her every now and then because sometimes I'll get anxious. And I'll text her and she'll be like, "Hi," and just or I'll call her and or FaceTime her. So.
And is having her respond to you a bit of a common sensation for you?
Yeah, it's sometimes when I text her, if I'm anxious at a friend's house, it's kind of grounding to be just it's okay, you're gonna be fine. And sometimes I just need to be told it's gonna be okay. So
So it sounds like the reminders from your mom is really important to you. Just even from going to a sleepover and just having her calm you down and have her ground you and knowing that everything else is gonna be okay. Sounds like it's really important to you.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's something that you would always have, even if she's away or you away for a few days. You can always call her.
Yeah.
And have those grounding moments because it's important to have those, especially with someone as supportive as your mom.
Yeah.
And you rely on her so much. You guys rely on each other for so much. And It's just about working on those feelings.
Yeah.
Good. How do you feel now?
I feel like it's something that, like, if I keep working on it, I feel like I could get to a point where maybe I could, like, because I don't know if I wouldn't go for obviously, like, the whole spring. I'd probably go for like 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think if I keep working on it, then maybe I might be able to do it for like a few days eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, spring break is still like 3 months away.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, you still have time to work on those.
Yeah.
Mm. But what if you do go for the full week?
I definitely would be anxious.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, like, again, if I like kept working on it, and I think I could do it. It's just like part of it is like I have to tell myself like it's gonna be fine, because it's like frustrating. Because sometimes it's like I know things are gonna be fine, but it's also like my brain is like no, no,
yeah,
and I like think the worst or whatever. So. Yeah.
It sounds like it's a lot frustrating for you to have, your thoughts going on about, all the negative stuff that might happen. But then you're trying your best to think of the positives and think about all the good things that's happening now and trying to stay in the present. Sounds a lot frustrating for you. It sounds frustrating for pretty much everyone else, including myself. That we have all these anxious thoughts that we have going on, and then we're trying to stay in the present and trying to remind ourselves everything is going to be fine.
Yeah.
It's just frustrating.
Yeah.
And as long as you keep working on that, as long as you keep telling yourself it's going to be fine, taking breaths, staying in the present, meditating, calling your mom, journaling, all those good skills. It's challenging, but it's doable. As long as you believe that.
Yeah.
And I think you do.
Yeah.
All right. All right. How are your brothers doing?
Good. Yeah, Max, like a 7-year-old. My dad last night was like, because we were talking about, I was like an angel child. I was so good. My mom was like, you actually really were. My dad was like, Liam's an angel child, and I started laughing so hard. I was like, that's really funny. And my mom was like, Emma doesn't usually laugh like that. Wow, good job. And he was like, I'm being for real. He's like an angel. And he like in the background is like screaming. I'm like, that's really funny. Yeah.
So it sounds like you had a good laugh.
Yeah.
A good moment with your dad and your brothers.
Yeah. And he was like, my dad's like, he's like, what? Like, I'm being serious. And I'm like, are you really? Yeah.
So you don't believe he's an angel child?
Not at all. Sometimes I think he's like a spawn of Satan. I'm like, oh my gosh. He can just like, I'm like, you need anger management? Like, it's, He's
it's a lot.
He's 7.
He's still 7, yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
How's school going?
Good. I'm actually, for like a course I'm doing, it's like, gender equality course, so it's like, my aunt actually, she was a baker in New York City.
Nice.
Like, she went to culinary school and everything.
Wow.
So, like, she really knows how to, like, cook and bake and stuff like that. It's crazy. And I'm gonna, because I asked, like, her and my nana, like, how has, like, equal pay and stuff like that. Like, was that something that, like, you struggled with? And so I'm calling my aunt today to ask her questions so that I can put together, like, little, not technically, like, a full essay, but kind of more like a few paragraphs to answer.
Yeah.
About like an experience that like I've had or family members had. So
nice.
Yeah.
I like that idea, calling up family who've had, businesses and had a whole career.
Yeah.
In some place like New York City, New York. And yeah, I like that. So it's sort of like an interview. You knowing the gender bias and pays and how that goes through.
Yeah.
Nice. That's good. What's this for? What class is this for?
It's kind of just like a course that I found that I was like, because I'm really into like politics and like stuff like that. And so I was just like researching and I found it and I was like, okay, I want to do it.
Okay,
so,
good.
But it like goes along with kind of like, my mom was like, you can count this as school as long as like you're doing other stuff. Like, it can be like a part of it because it's supposed to take like a month. So I'm like, okay, I'll just make sure to count it as like other school stuff that I'm doing.
Okay, good. So, yeah, sounds like a good experience to have and something that's also goes towards your political future or something like that. Okay, good. That sounds good. What else is going on? How is Emma?
Good. We've been talking and stuff like that. She's still busy. I mean, she's not as busy because she's not doing indoor tracking work. So she's not as busy, but she's still like busy. Monday through Friday, Sunday, sometimes Saturdays. You know, it's like I don't know how you do it, girl. I would be like dead. I'm like, you're better than me. So yeah.
I bet you used to do a lot too back when you were dancing.
Yeah.
How was your schedule like back then?
I used to. I mean, like back when I went to school, like in second grade, even then, it was like I went to school. I would come home, I would get ready for dance, I would go to dance, I would come home, go to sleep, do it all the next day. And then as I got older, it was just like more and more and more and more dance got added. So it was like I would like do school. Last year I did not do a lot of school though because I was not in a good place. Like I could not do like anything really. But like I would usually like before I would like do school, and then I would make sure I'm ready for dance by like 4:30. So, because it usually would be like earlier some days a week, which was like stressful.
Yeah.
And I'd have to eat I would have to eat like dinner at like 3:30.
Wow.
And it wasn't always a very good schedule for dance when classes were.
Yeah, eating dinner at 3:30.
Yeah, like 3:34. Yeah.
Sounds absurd.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you end up being hungry?
Yeah.
As the time goes on. Yeah. It sounds like it's challenging having to go to school, dance for a long time, come back, do homework.
Yeah. There was like a little place next to dance where like we would go get food on like Thursdays because that was like the longest day. We would come in at 5:15 and leave at almost 9. So those were always. And then Mondays it was like 4:30 or like 5 until like 8:30 or something like that. So it was a lot.
Yeah.
There was only like I think there was on Wednesdays I only had one class. And then on Saturdays, I just helped out. But didn't really help, actually, technically. But, yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah. Do you miss that life?
Not really. I guess sometimes I miss going to a studio and having a little bit more space to kind of do stuff. But sometimes, I get stressed about, not doing enough at home for dance, but then I'm like, what would I be doing at the studio if I went there? Because like technique is a big part of dance. It's really what like gets you to be good in the rest of your classes and be able to like do turns and do leaps and do and we only had like one technique class, and the average is like people do technique like every other day. For like some people do like 2 hours like every other day of just technique, because that's the biggest thing that you need. And we only have like an hour class or 45-minute class of technique, which is not enough compared to, because I remember I went to a competition and my mom and I asked other dance teachers and stuff like that, like, how much technique do you do at your studio? And they're like, oh, we do like every day we kind of do like some sort of like technique stuff, or like, oh, we do like 3 times a week like hour classes. And it's like, compared to, so that's like 3-4 hours of technique a week. And we only do like 45 minutes of it a week.
Wow.
And then like really all it would ever be is like I would go there to learn dances for competitions or combos or across the floor stuff for improv. And then like it wasn't ever a lot that like, when I now go back and think about it, it's like I never learned that much besides dances that I needed to do. And it's like, to get me to where I want to be to dance, that was not going to get me anywhere. Just learning dances and doing little technique. So
right now it's sort of like a reflection period, thinking about all the past experiences you had with the dance studio. Like, looking back, you pretty much, it wasn't going to be beneficial for what you want to do eventually. And like you said, you guys need a lot of technique, time for technique, and your dance studio wasn't offering that. So it's sort of like a good end of the stick. Like I know you received like a bad end of the stick, and that's why we're sitting here. But it also comes with a good end of the stick, knowing that it wasn't as beneficial as you thought it would have been. So now all you have to do is look for somewhere better. And I know we briefly talked about this a few weeks ago, about you wanting to, go out to find a different dance studio. How is that going?
We haven't really, because like I've talked to my mom about stuff, and it's like I used to have more like of a drive with dance, and it's like now, like right now, I'm trying to get that back, but just it's hard because it's like after going through so much trauma with dance, like sometimes I don't want to do it. But it's like at the end of the day, I still love dance, and it's like I don't want to just give it up, because I've been told by so many people that like I'm really talented, and that like I have like, people have said that like you can tell that I love dance when I dance, and it's like I don't want to just like leave it behind and just be like throw it aside and stuff. But sometimes it can be hard, because like at home sometimes I get stuck also, because I'm like, I don't know if I 100% want to like go to like another studio, but like maybe take a few classes at another studio. But it's also like, for what I want to do, I don't really know like exactly what to do, and to find things at home sometimes it can be hard. Like, so it's just kind of like the fact that like it's kind of difficult right now, trying to like find stuff to do, and trying to be driven again to like be consistent with it, and not only like 2-3 times a week, like not do much. And it's kind of like, I know it'll get me like eventually, but it's like I have to do more. And it's like, it just is hard.
Going back to the comments that people say about your dancing, do you believe in that?
Yeah, I mean, most of the way, I mean, I didn't, over like last summer, I sometimes will like go back and be like, oh, why didn't I just like, because like I lost like, I think part of it is like lost like, I don't know, like a lot of myself, to believe in myself, kind of, to be like, you can do this, because sometimes I'll just get frustrated over the littlest thing, and I'm like, I don't want to like do it. But I know I just have to like believe in myself, but again, like that's hard because like I used to get told that, like basically that like I wasn't that good of an dancer by like my dance teacher.
Your
and
old
like I would
dance teacher.
Old dance teacher, yeah. And like to have people talk about you and stuff like that, like it sometimes can become like it just can be hard to like want to do it sometimes.
Yeah. Sounds like it. It sounds like you've had this such a bad experience that tainted your experience with dance and having all these people saying negative stuff about your dance. And then you have, on one hand, you have all this negative stuff going on. But then internally you sort of love dance, like you said, and you have good people telling you that you're such a good dancer when you dance. Like you said, you've lost that sort of confidence within yourself to have that feeling that you felt when you were dancing. And it's a lot.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's a lot having to, break down all those emotions and feelings that you're previously going through.
Yeah.
And like currently, I wanted to know how you felt about dance and how you feel, possibly going back to dance. Do you feel like it's something that you see in your future going back to dancing?
Yeah, like I don't think I'll ever go to like a studio like full time because like that's not gonna help me get to where I want to go. So I don't think I'll ever go back to like a dance studio full time. Maybe take a few classes at different places, but not like fully go back to one.
Okay, so how would you rate your confidence now from 1 to 10?
I would say right now it's probably like in the middle, so like a 5.
A 5?
Like 4.5, 5.
Why do you feel like it's such in the middle right now?
I feel like because like I get discouraged very easily, and like since like right now I don't have a lot of drive to keep going, it's kind of like difficult. And like my mom tries to like find stuff, but like I said, like it sometimes can be like hard to find stuff. And so it's kind of like my mom does like the most that she kind of can. But sometimes I'm like, I need you to like look for more stuff. And then she forgets to do it, and I'm like, okay, did you find anything? She's like, crap, I forgot this. I'm like, I need you to look for things, please. But I just, I think it just is like hard, and I like wish I could like move past it easier, faster, but because I could be like procrastination. I could be a little farther along, but it's just not easy.
Yeah. What do you think you need to move past?
I think I need to move past like the kind of like thoughts of thinking like I'm not a good enough dancer, or like thinking that like because I'm doing stuff at home I'm not gonna get anywhere. Because like those are kind of some thoughts that I think about. Is that like, oh, since I'm doing it at home, I'm not gonna get anywhere. Since I'm only doing X, Y, and Z, I'm not gonna get anywhere. Oh, if I don't do this, like I'm not gonna get this, and like stuff like that kind of, and just like I have to believe in myself and get the drive back. But it's just.
Yeah, sounds like you have lots of thoughts about failure and like you failing in your craft and not being as good as you used to be, and not having that community of going to a dance studio is, that used to be the drive. That's external drive. So then you need something to find your internal drive and something to push you further. And even though you're practicing on your own and doing stuff on your own, and not having to rely on those external drives, like you relying on your mom to look for certain studios and times for you. I think what we need to work on right now is having that internal drive of motivation and grabbing that back. And I think that sort of comes from your love of dance and how you feel when you're dancing and how you feel about dance in general. And that sort of would build up your confidence. So it's like a step. So you need to build up that, confidence and that love for dancing. And that would be the sort of drive to push you forward and lead you to doing more for dancing, doing more and getting, where you want to achieve. And I think you do have that motivation. It sounds like you have a little bit of motivation and a little bit of confidence left. So we just have to build upon that.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think I know that like I have it still, but I just have to like find it and get it out so then I can do it. Yeah.
But then again, too, you're doing other stuff like the acting stuff, and that's also a different form of art that your body is expressing and you are emotionally expressing as well.
Yeah.
So I don't want to push you too much into thinking about having to go back to dance, even though that came with some sort of negative and bad baggage. But yeah, we can also focus on something else.
Yeah.
But I think my main goal right now is building up the self-confidence. What do you think about that?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Do you feel like it's something that you're open to doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that would be a good goal for us moving forward, is to build our self-confidence and knowing that you can do anything that you put your mind to and achieve. As long as you keep trying and practicing and, doing what you can.
Yeah.
That's all we can do. Just try.
Yeah.
And I know it's always hard. I say this a lot. It's hard not to think about the negative and think about the fear of failing. But that also could be something that pushes us forward.
Yeah.
Is thinking about the negative stuff.
Yeah.
And knowing that I don't want this to happen. I don't want to have to think about me failing. So I'm just going to push forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. We talk a lot about failure. I know last week you mentioned about failing and how it's like your biggest fear.
Yeah.
Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, I think there was definitely a time where like my fear of failure was the thing that pushed me. Like I think that was kind of last year what pushed me a little bit. But I've always kind of had like a fear of failure, and like pretty much my whole life. Like my mom has even said, like even when you were little, like you would like cry if like something that you were doing wouldn't work like how you wanted it to, and like you would get so upset about certain things, and it's just something like I think I've carried with me my whole life. Just I've always like, especially because I have such big dreams and like things that like don't always work out for people. It's even more that like I have the fear of like failing and not being successful, and not being known, or not like living my life to the fullest, or not, it's just like an overload of like thoughts of that. Like, oh, if I don't do this, or like, oh, but like I'm gonna fail if I don't do that. I'm like, oh, I could fail if I don't have this happen, or just like etc. Of just like different things that like I would feel like I like have failed if like I don't do certain things and stuff like that. Yeah, I've always kind of had that.
Hence the wheel of anxious thoughts about failing.
Yeah.
But my question to you is, what would you feel like if this doesn't happen now? What would you feel like?
That's a good question. I mean, I feel like I mean, I guess, like, sometimes, because, like, acting, for instance, like, there's people that are my age that I'm like, oh, I want to be like them. Like, they've been in movies and TV shows and they're, like, 16 years old. And I'm like, how do you even, like, and it's like, sometimes I ask myself, am I failing because, like, they've achieved, like, all that? And it's like, am I failing because I haven't done that? Or, like, stuff like that, kind of. And, like, with dancing, it's like some people my age are, like so talented, and I'm like, am I not talented enough? Am I, like, failing because they're, like, the same age as me, and, like, they're so much better. Like, they can do tricks even, and I cannot do tricks to, like, save my life. And it's like, does that mean I'm failing? Or, like, lots of stuff like that.
So it sounds like it's a lot of comparing to other people. And it's just, you know, looking at what people have achieved and looking at what you have achieved. What do you think about what you have achieved and others haven't? It's like looking on the bright side.
Yeah.
You know, there's a phrase, something about the thief of joy. Like looking at somebody, it's like the thief
comparison
of joy.
Is the thief of joy. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just look at what you have done in your life, your short life.
Yeah.
And then compare it to someone else who hasn't done anything of sorts like you have.
Yeah.
It's just putting yourself in other shoes and other perspective.
Yeah.
Comparing is a thief of joy. And it sounds like comparing is like the biggest thing that's leading up to your thoughts about failing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you say comparing is like the biggest?
I think it's one of the biggest, yeah.
It's one of the biggest?
Yeah.
Okay, so what else?
Comparison and just kind of, I guess, like, not like feeling like I'm good enough. Like, those are, like, probably the
biggest two. So comparing yourself and not thinking that you're good enough. And that also circles back to confidence. Because once you believe in yourself and think that you're good enough, that your rate of confidence goes up.
Yeah.
So it all ties in to confidence. And that's why I keep asking you, like, do you truly believe in yourself and, like, believe in what people are saying about your dance or your acting and all that? It's important that we think of ourselves first and think about how you truly believe in yourself and your art. And that would lead to self-confidence. And that would not, because comparing is never going to stop. We always want what someone else is
to have.
Right. But we can use that as a motivation and a drive to build up our self-confidence in knowing that I also have more than someone else does.
Yeah.
Right? You can think of it in that way. That, you know, someone has more than you have. I also have more than what someone else has. And I have more experience than someone else. I don't have experience in dance. So you're talking about the tricks and the stuff that other people can do, and you can't. I can't do anything that you can do. I can't turn like you can. I can't act. I can't not act. I can't go for no auditions. So I think it's a good place for us to end because we're running out of time. But I feel like we can go back to this next week and talk more about failing and confidence and comparing and believing in yourself.
Yeah.
I think that's. How do you feel?
Yeah. Yeah. Good.
You feel good? Okay.
Yeah.
What does good look like? You feeling content? You feeling okay?
Yeah, I think it's like good to talk about like stuff like that because it helps me to like kind of understand and like start to feel like better eventually about like stuff and yeah.
Good. I'm glad you're feeling okay. And yeah, it's a good place for us to start to help you feel better.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm here for. So feel free to be as open as you can, and we can work on it. Alright, so thank you for coming. Have a good day. And I'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Okay.